What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I just want to go ahead and right off the bat thank each and every one of you guys for ordering stuff through the Amazon link. It has been helping a lot. It's been adding up. We've been able to make a little bit of money on that, so I really appreciate that. That really helps the channel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll just be real quick about it and let you guys know that anything you purchase on this Amazon link, it will cost you absolutely nothing extra. It is simply your Amazon just through our link, so it shows that we're bringing you we're trafficking you to Amazon basically, and it will give us a small commission. Now, I mean, it's some of the commissions are pretty fair, and it really does help the channel, guys. So we appreciate you guys. If you do your shopping on Amazon a lot, go ahead and save the link in the description below. Copy and paste that to your desktop, and anytime you place an order, just go to that link, and it'll support the channel a little bit. It costs you $0 out of your pocket. It doesn't cost you anything to support us, guys. So today we're going to be removing a 7.3 Power Stroke out of, well, I guess I should say in today's video. It's not going to get done today, I can tell you that. We don't have enough time, but we're going to be removing a 7.3 out of one truck and reinstalling it into another truck. You guys have seen Connor's truck on the channel here a couple times. We've done some work on it, and it is I don't know if it's the cam or a rod, but there's a hole in the block. I don't know exactly what from. So Connor didn't want to pay to fix it, so we purchased the truck off of Connor. We're going to repair it and then maybe keep it for a little bit, maybe resell it. We don't really know yet, but we just thought we would throw some of this content in so you guys can see what the plan is. All right, guys, challenge of the day. We have to move that truck into that garage using that truck. See how this goes. Hello. Don't mind me. Been working on this thing for about probably 3 hours total of actual work. We just had to go to town. It took us forever to get it in here, but pulled the core support off of it, radiator, accessories off the front, pulled the turbo, thinking we can get it out with the pipes on. All right, guys, we got the 7.3 pulled out of the donor truck. Come out pretty smooth. Everything went good. Looks like we got a little squirrel nest going on down in there, but we're gonna have to change these O-rings on the pedestal and maybe address the up pipe, maybe put some new bolts and gaskets in because they're kind of leaking, but the motor's pretty clean minus that. It doesn't really have any serious leaks. So hey guys, it's now the next day and we're about to head back over to Bailey's. It's like 9:30 in the morning, but I'm gonna try and drive the Duramax today and go by the car wash and get it sprayed off. We used it to move and there's tons of salt all over it, so I need to get it sprayed off. Let's cold start it real quick. All right, guys, we are en route, almost back over to Bailey's house. I just stopped by the auto parts store, and after a good 20-minute argument about what parts I wanted to buy, I finally was able to buy the parts that I wanted to buy. Gosh, you know, I'm just not even going to be negative and complain. Let's just say we had a wonderful time at the auto parts store. We got all the parts we needed, but we need to pull the other truck in, get the motor pulled out of it, and the motor that's going in it, we're going to put a water pump on it. We're going to put new glow plugs in it. We're going to put a set of up pipe bolts and gaskets, and also something else. We're going to wait to put the turbo on until the motor's in, but then the pedestal seals will go on as well. So with that being said, we don't have a whole lot to do today. Glow plugs. We want to put glow plugs in, but we don't have them yet. But I can get them from work around the DSRX glow plugs. The first thing I'm gonna do, still waiting on Bailey to get out here, and then we can move that truck in. So I just started working on this thing. I got these bolts soaking. You can see these up pipes have been leaking. We ordered new gaskets and new hardware. It'll come with these new bolts, so I'm gonna try and just break them. I mean, obviously those aren't gonna come off. If I can't break them, I'll just cut them, take the grinder and cut them right there, and then we'll pull this off. And then we really don't want to break these bolts off inside of this piece, so I'm gonna really heat these up really hot, and I've been soaking them in PB Blaster to try and start penetrating them to get them loose. After that, I'm probably going to start changing the water pump on it. So to change the water pump, we will have to take, you can see how bad it is here. It's bad. We'll have to take this pulley off, and then we will have to, let's see, take this pulley off and pull all these bolts out. There's a couple coolant sensor here, and then we can put the new water pump on this engine. And then we will just be waiting on our hardware. It should be here this afternoon, so we can do these up pipe bolts. And then we have our new turbo O-ring set, so we'll change the 2 O-rings, the feed and the return for the turbo right here. Those O-rings are bad. We may pull the pedestal off and change the ones. There's 2 up here, and then there's 2 underneath them as well. All right, guys, we got the up pipes pulled off. We changed the O-rings on the turbo pedestal. 2 O-rings back here, changed those. We put a new water pump on it. We're gonna wait until we get the old motor out to swap the neck over. It's in a lot better shape than the one that came off this one. New water pump is on, and we cleaned the valley out real good. There's all kinds of stuff that falls down in these valleys, but we got our shop backed out real good. Cleaned this up real good. This is a little clip that goes to your exhaust back pressure valve. They're really hard to get off, so I cleaned that up real good. And yeah, we're about to pull the 7.3 back in here. Mason is working on Bailey's common rail, button the head on it. Bailey bought it with a blown head gasket. There's an O-ring, or a fire ring engine. It's cut into the block. Just got that back all together. He has a couple different parts for it. Has a turbos in the floorboard. It's got a S472. It's a 72-83-90. And the truck has fire ring engine, supposed to have a cam, and then some shide injectors. And yeah, this thing will probably make at least like 600-700 horse when it's done. So it'll be a fun truck to rip around in.
Hold the brakes.
Strap broke. This one's got them big old mud tires on it. They got big treads in them. Make it go. You know he feels so cool right now. Huh? I'm gonna have him turn right and then we'll go right, Mason.
It'll clear.
All right.
Barely fit.
Drop it fast. Huh? Drop it fast. Forgot that ground. Huh? That ground. Yeah. Yeah, we did. Did you unhook it? He's slacking. He got the injectors in, got the turbo on. Bailey is going to run a Hoodstacked on this truck. So we got to fabricate one of those. Deleted the battery box over here. Mason's putting the valve train on right now. We got the 7.3. Obviously the other engine pulled out of this truck. It's quite a pain being a 6-speed truck. Had to clear the input shaft and broke this piece of the plastic in the cowl. Here's the motor. It's going to be going back in it. We put the motor that came out of the truck had bellowed up pipes on it. So we got those on here. They're just loose. Just leave them kind of loose until the turbo's bolted up. Then you can tighten them up from under the truck. We got the water pump put on. Got the new thermostat. Had to steal the neck off of the motor that came out of it. We're getting ready to change the glow plugs and put the clutch on this. But as you guys can hear, Bailey has his 3rd gen running. So we're going to go for a quick little rip. Hoodstacked. So weird when they're Hoodstacked. You're at the back of the truck and it's just dead silent. What EGT gauge? Rowdy. Alright guys, we backed this thing in here to pull the wiring harness off of it. We're going to use a wiring harness on this engine. But there's you an idea of the hole in the side of this block. I don't know what caused that, but the rod is still intact, but there's a massive hole right there. Pretty much ready to drop in. We got the new engine harness on it, new water pump. We got new pedestal seals, cleaned the motor up really good. We put new glow plugs in it, new injector wiring harnesses, got the clutch on it, and we painted the oil pan in a couple spots that had some rust. It wasn't bad enough to where we need to replace it. It's not leaking, so we just cleaned it up with a wire wheel and painted it. And we were checking it all over. It's pretty solid. Not really worth changing. It's a pretty big deal to change the oil pan on these. So everything is looking good. We are about to try and stick it back in. We have the motor mounts off of the engine, and we're hoping that with the motor mounts off, we can get it in. It's really tight, guys, on these, like super duper tight up against the cowl. We're hoping we can finagle this thing back in here and get it lined up. And once it's lined up on the motor, then we're hoping that we can, or once the motor trans are bolted, then we'll mess with the motor mount. Boy, do we have a mess. What is up, guys? It is now the 4th day of working on the 7.3. Not the 4th full day. I'd say total, probably we have about 12 hours invested in this project. If I had to guess, probably around 12 hours, I'd say, but that's 2 people, 3 people working at a time. So probably about 25, 30 hours in, just kind of give you guys a rough idea of how long this is actually taking. The motor is in the truck, bolted to the transmission. Let me tell you guys what, it is a pain to pull a 7.3 out of a manual truck. If this was an auto, like this motor was originally bolted to an automatic truck, and it wasn't bad at all because you don't have to clear that input shaft whenever you bring the motor out. But in this scenario, obviously you have an input shaft that you have to get out. It was easier to go in, I would say, than it was to get it out. Getting this thing out and over these cross members with a gigantic oil pan they have and not lifting the cab is extremely difficult. If you have a if you have a lift, which we do have a lift, but obviously our lift is not set up right now because we're redoing our other shop, then this would be a lot easier of a process, and you could just lift the cab off and just kind of get it done. It's a little bit more work to lift the cab on something, but it pays out in the end if you have the ability to do so. Well, the exhaust back pressure valve is functioning. She's up to operating temp. Got hot heat, no check engine light. Everything's working great. Not gonna lie, guys, I'm trying to buy Bailey out of this thing. I want to keep it. That's a good truck. Listen how good this motor sounds. Sounds good. Not normal for 7.3. Not normal for 7.3. There's no pressure, as you guys can see, but about like that's perfectly normal for a high mileage 7.3. It's not pushing out.